Are you the kind of guy that goes into the electronics store and says, "I'd like to buy a boombox," and the girl looks at you like, "What's that?"
No, but getting parts for my Atari are a pain in the ass.
Holy shit!
You have to remember, my computer is a Commodore 64. Does that tell you anything?
On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, the Navajos like Remington. The mob comes for the libs. Danny's conspiracy of everything, and the arrogance of the trained.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Danny, Marky, and Freeze, and this is a special 4th of July episode 179 of the John 1911 podcast. Today is July 2nd. It's about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. It's been a long day, and we're doing one at the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day. And so, besides going into the Best Buy and asking where to buy the boom boxes, how have you been, Danny?
Very busy. Keeping tabs on everything is almost the insurmountable job with the world of politics.
Danny, off the air, has been asking for a raise because there's been so much political stuff going on. He's getting swamped by his job.
You know what? I don't think Danny deserves a raise because he gets a government stipend. That's better than welfare.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. So instead of Danny, you will be known as the welfare queen? It's
no, well, the only race
80s reference for the kids out there that don't know what that is.
The only raise I want is cheese on my White Castles. It's not asking for that much of a contract.
That actually is not asking for much. That's actually pretty much of a standard because, I mean, if you're going to go to White Castles, you got to get a cheese castle. And you know what's even better than that is a freaking double cheese castle.
Well, yeah, if you're going to have the big grabber, you may as well go all the way.
Exactly. Hey, but you know what?
You know what? If you're going to have to visit the cardiologist, you might as well make it.
Exactly.
Right? Go ahead.
Look, let me tell you something. I am doing something today that is totally out of character for me.
You're being nice.
Well, now, fuck no. Come on, please. No.
I didn't mean to insult you.
Jeez, come on. Being nice? Really? Stop. No, it's been hot as balls in the Midwest. It's been crazy. And I've been out there doing yard work all freaking day. I'm sitting here in a sweat-soaked T-shirt, and I'm actually drinking a beer. And I don't drink beer.
You know what? He's not kidding. He doesn't drink. He always drinks bourbon, right?
Yes. But you know what? When it's 90 freaking degrees with super high humidity and you're like contemplating on going to the ER for heat stroke, bourbon is not the drink for you. But you know what? For not being a beer drinker, and I always have beer in the fridge for guests because, most people drink beer and why should they drink my good booze? But honestly, this beer is pretty damn tasty on a hot freaking day.
Well, good for you.
Anything cold when it's hot.
Good for you.
You'll drink
good
anything.
For you. Yeah.
So, I'm going to sit here while you two just mosey on through your day talking about how hard it's been drinking your Lipton iced tea on the porch with your sun hats. Do you know what I did today?
Yeah, I know.
I moved vaults. I moved vaults into the armory today. Today was the final of the 4-step install to move the armory, and it was vault day. And I don't know if I told you this, Dan, if I said it on the group chat or not, but so we have one safe that is it's an old government surplus thing.
Yeah,
it's from the 20 from.
Yeah, it's like a post office safe from like the 20s, maybe 30s. Mm-hmm. But
and every time anybody that's into that kind of stuff sees this, they go, "That's really special. How did you get that?" Even the government, even the post office was like, "How did you get that?" Well, I apparently had misremembered because we had moved this thing in many years. It's like it's gold leaf painted. It's got a great seal of the United States on it.
It's
I thought it weighed.
You know what? You should probably put a picture of the safe on this podcast. Just I know we don't like to post pictures of like the vault room and stuff, but this safe is so freaking gorgeous. It wouldn't hurt to just have a still picture of the safe by itself in the comments.
Well, if you'd been over here today, this room that I'm in is actually designed to be pseudo public. It's finished, so we can shoot video and pictures in here. So it's designed. It's more video and friendly. So that's actually going to be very easy to do. Mm-hmm. But check this out. For years have been saying, I think it weighs about 700 pounds. Because it wasn't as heavy as this other thing that we'd gotten. It was literally 4,000 pounds.
Oh my God, that thing was with that. Look, Danny doesn't know about this, but I'll say, when it was it was a 3 safe purchase through an auction, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There was 3 safes.
Yeah, it was a sealed bid auction through an actual post office. Yeah, through a regional post.
The one safe that is now gone, by the way. Couldn't even go down into the vault room. It was so freaking big. It ended up in your garage, and you're like, do you want it? And I'm like, no, because it was just so, it was a beautiful safe. Don't get me wrong. But this thing was so huge, and it was just so monstrous. It was just like, no. I don't have room in my garage for it, and getting it in my basement would be a freaking nightmare.
Here's the thing. The problem with that safe is it literally, this is no joke, it weighed 4,000 pounds.
Yes.
And so it weighed as much as a decent car.
It weighs as much as my Suburban.
Your Suburban's probably more than 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I bet your Suburban 6. But anyway, hold on, we digress.
Okay.
I thought for years this safe was 700 pounds because mentally, this helps explain it. Big, crazy-ass safe. I, for years, have told myself this government safe, this is the, quote, light one. So I had kind of transposed light one. I had gotten confused. We paid $700 for this safe, and I had turned that into it weighs 700 pounds.
Gotcha.
Oh, no. It's 1,500 pounds.
But I'll tell you what.
It weighs 2 Harley.
That's 1,500 pounds of pure Art Deco beauty. Because this safe, look, the people listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure they've seen like old safes from the 20s. Well, stack 2 of those on top of each other, and this is this safe. It's beautiful. It's got gold gilt paint, pinstriping. It's got like the federal seal on it. It's got some wear and tear and battering on it, and honestly, it's in pretty damn good condition.
Here's the good point, because it was made in 1925, but the golden, the Great Seal of the United States on it with the bird and the shield, and then the blue field above it and all that kind of stuff. That's all hand painted. That's not a decal.
Yeah, no.
Decals in 1925.
No, that's hand painted. This thing is a work of art. And we turned it we turned it into a gun safe.
Yeah, I had 2 offers today to buy it because the company that moved it was like, holy shit. Like the one guy, I guess they rehab safes. They were like, how did you get this before we got it? Because I was like, well,
blind auction is.
Yeah, because we knew what we wanted. So, and then they made some offers, and I thought about for a hot minute maybe letting him take it. Because their argument was your facility is secure, you don't need safes, you've got vault rooms. But I'm like, yeah, it's and I thought about it, but it was like, you know what, the thing is, if I'm not going to bring this safe into the armory, I'm not going to bring any of them. And it's like, you know what, I'm not, because the other ones are like just modern things, and I like that. I like it. I'm an old guy, and I like my old Great American Seal United States safe.
Well, just a side story that I just recalled from the safe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when the post office offered this safe up for auction, they did actually offer it to the post office museum in Washington, D.C. first, I believe.
Yes.
And they turned it down because they didn't need it, because apparently they have enough old post office safes. And plus, it weighs 1,500 freaking pounds, So
well, actually, here's the official story was, because the post office where we got it, and when we picked it up, they were like, "We can't believe you got this. We were told that anything historical needs to go to the U.S. Postal Service Museum in Washington.
Yes,
and we're required by law or statute or directive to always offer stuff up to them first."
Yes.
And he said the only reason you guys are even getting this safe is because they said at that moment in Washington they did not have the room, but they wanted it. They literally we just can't. We want it, but we can't take it.
See,
and it was killing them to sell it.
And that was oh my God, that was so many years ago. That was way back in the beginning of our,
oh God, yeah, that was 15 years ago, maybe.
God, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember how many years ago it was, but it was that was way back in the early days, because back in the early days when we got that safe, there was no armory. It was just another gun safe.
Yeah, we built the armory around that safe.
Yeah,
literally.
So I'm glad you decided not to bow to peer pressure and keep it, because it's almost kind of like the history.
You know what? We're not going to expand on this story, but do you remember we were installing a vault door and we didn't realize it had a plunger on it, and it dropped the bolts, and we had to break into the room just to get it open?
You know what? I actually had a picture of your ass breaking into the room, but when
we can't share.
My old phone died, I lost all the photographs I had on the phone, and I don't have that anymore. But that photograph right now would be amazing, because, and I'm not going to go into details of how you had to break into the vault room, but all I had was like your ass and legs hanging out of a wall.
Yeah. It was like, fuck, because we put all this effort and all this stuff, and we got this vault door, and we brought it down from wherever, like it was from Right Pat, and like just all this bullshit. And it was like, I didn't understand the vault door, like the peccadillos of it, because it was like, and it's got an automatic.
It was like a 2,000-pound vault door.
Yeah, and it has an automatic feature on it. If you close it, it had weights internally, and if a plunger gets depressed, the weights drop and it throws the bolts and automatically locks the door.
Yes.
See, most people today, like if you're listening to this and you are civilian and you have a vault door somewhere, you've got a door that you turn, and it's got like a cute little lock thing on it, and like it's just like a little bank bolt, and you throw it and like the bolts come out. This was meant to be. It was designed to be opened slowly because it was a weapons room, so they didn't want anyone to be able to get into it quickly, and it was designed to be closed quickly in the event of emergency.
Well,
and that was we
figured
that out
rated for a nuclear blast as well. It's a blast door.
Yeah, it actually was rated for it because it's all that
yeah,
is like crazy. So anyway, it's been all kinds of memories, and so. The gun deinstall and reinstall is done. The office furniture move is done. The gym move is done. That was probably about the most expensive move. And then now today was the vaults, or the safes, not the vaults, the safes. And then also I pulled the rest of the ammo out of the armory today, the old armory.
Well, so it was probably about 4,000 pounds of ammo.
I'll tell you what, here's the thing, because I have a bunch of ammo over here, and most of it's in cases, but then what I had left was all the stuff that was broken open, like, boxes of this, boxes of that. Yeah. Truck is full. The truck, I shit you not, the back of that truck is full of goddamn ammo.
No, I don't doubt that.
And here's the thing, and you have to carry it out like 2 or 3 more boxes at a time. It's just like, it was like all fucking day.
Well,
it's so like you guys just drinking your iced tea, sitting on your verandas, And,
the pool, Marky.
The pool.
Well,
so
I mean, that's what happens when you have years and years of ammo in a designated spot. You can break a case and pull some of it out. I mean, look, this is a one-time hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect the armory to be removing to another location anytime soon. But this is kind of like a one-time pain. It's like, it sucks. But, I mean, what the fuck can you do?
Well, I hope to God when you were moving the ammo that some kids with some wayward fireworks weren't aimed at your truck somehow.
That would have been bad.
Oh, you know what? I mean, shit. We live in freaking Ohio. You're not allowed to have any decent fireworks here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I haven't,
Oh, yeah, you get illegal fireworks, but I don't see any wayward kids.
Dude, all that bullshit they have. Like, every place you go to buy fireworks, they're like, you're not going to shoot them off in the state you're buying them in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not. So everybody in Ohio buys fireworks from Kentucky, and everybody in Kentucky buys fireworks from Ohio, and they all pretend that they're all going off to Tennessee to shoot these things. Yeah. And it's all a scam.
Sure, it is.
So
yeah,
I remember
Indiana has really good fireworks too. That's where the Illinois people go.
I'll tell you what, Indiana does have some really great fireworks. You're absolutely right about that. I remember
there's actually two fireworks stores not that far from the armory. From the John 1911 range.
Actually, probably about a third of the distance between my personal house and the John 1911 range. There is at least three fireworks places you can buy fireworks from, and I mean you can buy real fireworks from them. I mean, big mortars and. Shit that actually look. I'm not talking smoke bombs and sparklers. I mean, but yeah. I mean, it's real easy. I mean, but what? Who needs fireworks when you have firearms?
Good point.
Hey, by the way, I guess we should talk about this publicly, but. The Tannerite is not in the armory. Do you have the Tannerite?
The Tannerite is sitting about 6 feet away from me right now, ready to detonate. No, it's not ready to detonate. You got to mix it. You got to mix it, detonate. But you know what, though? You do bring up a good point. Tannerite does have a shelf life because you have to mix the two binary components together. And I had, if you remember, we were down at the old Mitchell range, and God, this is going back several years. I had a 1 pound pack of Tannerite that I mixed up, and we shot at that, and it never did go off. And we couldn't get it to go off. But that particular Tannerite bag was probably about 5 years old. And honestly, the Tannerite that I've got sitting in my garage right now, and I've got like 75 pounds of it. And it's probably.
I think it's 60 pounds.
Technically, it's probably.
We bought it. It was
60.
No, it's 60 pounds because I remember we bought it. It's 60 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't know. It's in big boxes, So okay.
Yeah.
But regardless, we need to really think about touching that off if we want to touch it off, because it does have a shelf life on the mixture.
Yeah.
And
I have to see. The problem is, number one, there's a couple issues with that. Number one, I haven't really had a good reason to deal with it. Number two, since we purchased the Tannerite, the laws have changed. And I don't know in every location and every municipality, and I'm going to keep it vague. So I'm doing this on purpose for you, so let's keep it vague for the podcast.
Sure.
Some of the, in some cases now, to shoot off, ever since Mr. shooting a tractor with a Tannerite and cut his own leg off. Oh, my leg.
Yeah.
It's now you need a fire marshal license to in some places to blow the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I haven't wanted to deal with it because I don't know.
Well,
I'm not ready at the John 1911 range.
No.
To deal with a fire marshal.
I totally agree with you on that because I don't know the rules and regs. I do know that if I wanted to mix up a pound of Tannerite and blow it off in my backyard, that would be totally freaking illegal. It's not illegal to own it.
Well,
but once you
hold on. Here's the deal. When we bought it, it wasn't illegal for you to set that off in your backyard.
That's true. Yes.
They changed the law. They have changed the law.
The law has changed, and it is illegal for me to torch off Tannerite in my backyard. Now, mind you, my backyard is acres, so it's not like I have a 100 by 100 square, mind you. But still, when we purchased it, it was legal. Now I do know it is illegal for me to torch. It's not illegal to own it as long as it's not mixed and it's by an form. Now, I could not mix it and torch it off in my backyard. That today would be illegal. Now, as far as
that goes to the overarching problem with the Tannerite is we don't really know. It's not a priority for us. It's not a priority for me anyway.
No.
And it's the status of it. The status of it has changed.
Yes.
And so we haven't really been inclined to deal with it because I don't feel like dicking with it because everything we do, we have to be legal. And so that's why, but anyway, I'm going to get off the table.
And the truth is, I don't really care enough about Tannerite. I mean, look, we've got a bunch of it and that's awesome, but I don't really give a shit about, shooting a video or not shooting a video of us down at the range blowing up a pound of Tannerite because it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'll tell you what, when we were, well, let me tell you something else that came up, and this came up specifically. I won't say who it was, but then gotta get off the Tannerite. We were constructing the range a year and a half or so ago. Yeah. And
one of the local farmers came by because, as they're inclined to do.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? And, they just really want a reason to come over and stoop around and, they hear stories and about this range and, so one of them guys comes over and he starts talking. He loves guns.
Yeah.
And he has no problems with police.
Sure.
There's no problems with kind of what we're doing. But then he makes a comment and he wasn't directed towards us, but he was saying it as if, like those guys with Tannerite. I guess there's something that happens. Some people out there set off Tannerite, and it bothers their cows and their animals, and they really dislike it.
Yeah,
we have enough farmers around us that I was like, note to self. Not that I care about Tannerite, but that's one more reason not to dick with it right now.
No. And so, I agree with that. However, I'm just going to throw this out there. There's a couple areas on the range where we had deadfall into the low areas that it would be nice to have a couple holes in there where we could put some targets. I'm just saying that if legally we can detonate a couple pounds of Tannerite in there to clear out a nice shooting hole, it wouldn't be bad.
Well, the thing is with Tannerite, like, again, we're still talking about Tannerite. Tannerite kind of sucks because it's the reason it's legal is because it's actually not a high explosive. And so, like, for example, we have some trees on the spine trail that I had to pull down because they're very dangerous because they, some issues. Well, the problem with Tannerite, at least the way we have it, you got to get under the tree and mix it and stick it. And the thing is, and you put it up and then you try to shoot it, you got to get the explosion. It's not a high speed explosion. And then you got to get it. Half of it's coming out to you, not going at the tree. And it wasn't really going to bring down what I needed to bring down anyway. And all it was going to do was just piss off people and not actually accomplish anything. Mm-hmm. And it was like, if I need to actually bring something down with explosives, I was just going to, the SWAT team had unofficially, not even unofficially. There was grumblings like, if you get in trouble and you really need something, we might be able to arrange something. Or the other one was, call the ATF, get some dynamite, we'll come out and we'll go ahead and just bring the shit down.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about deadfall. I mean, as far as dead trees, widow makers and that kind of thing. I was talking about just the stuff that was dozed into the low ground, into the low areas for erosion control. Whereas it wouldn't hurt to have maybe a couple blown out areas where we could put a target behind there for the SWAT teams and so forth.
Well, we've cut through some of that, and the reality is, dude, that Tannerite wouldn't do shit to that.
Yeah,
you put
maybe.
that, it wouldn't do shit.
Yeah, maybe.
It wouldn't do shit. Yeah. You'd be better. You'd spend half hour packing that Tannerite, trying to I'm gonna make a.
Yeah, you know what?
You'd be better off spending a half hour with a chainsaw.
You know what? I might spend.
That Tannerite will not cut through shit.
I might spend 2 hours putting Tannerite in there, but you know what?
Yeah.
When you record an explosion, what the fuck? That's always fun shit. Even if it didn't do anything for you, it's still good stuff. But we have to make sure we're still legal on doing that before we even attempt to do anything like that, regardless.
And we're still talking about goddamn Tannerite.
Okay, let's move off of Tannerite. Because I know Danny right now is fucking itching his neck like a freaking meth head because he wants to talk politics
so bad.
Yeah, he does. Okay, come on, Danny. Jump in here.
Oh, well, let's talk about how the country's falling apart. It's going to be obviously the next war is going to be the Union, the Union American Patriots versus the Communists.
No. So actually, my stick is a little different today, but I'm thinking Freeze wants to Tannerite the old dead logs or whatever you want to call it. That's cheating the bush hog its due to being repaired. You don't want to move those trees. Wouldn't have nothing to break.
Yeah. You know what? The mayor of Seattle should have Tannerited the Chop Chaz.
No, you can't Tannerite the Summer of Love. Come on, baby.
Whoa, now that's my lead-in, the Summer of Love. Oh, thank you. And I did not arrange this with Freeze earlier. But before you accuse me, no pivot man here. But anyway, speaking about the Summer of Love, did you see how the Seattle mayor had the police go in and tear down the autonomous zone, and the whole Chaz zone and the whole thing like that? And do you know why she ordered that?
Yes.
Look, she's getting sued.
Good. You guys are attentive, but isn't it funny how after her Freedom of Love or Summer of Love people decided to protest in front of her house, her attitude changed? Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. Well, a couple of points I want to make here. Number one, let's be real. How autonomous is your autonomous zone if you're putting out calls to be like, we need vegetarian food and kombucha.
Yeah,
please bring us something to eat. It's like, I don't know how autonomous that sounds to me.
Well, Marky, you and I had talked about this, and they went quite peacefully. The Summer of Love people. I'm thinking they got the mayor over a barrel somehow. So maybe come next election, our next political cycle, or whatever it is, because they gave up their so-called zone or their Chaz, that they've got a chip in the game that they're going to cash in on the mayor's ass somehow.
Well, it's interesting because she's a big leftist. I mean, she owns this. And, this is an example of, let's talk about presidential politics, national politics, and I'll come back to Seattle. If this was some Tea Party group or some, I don't know, heaven forbid, insert your stereotypical right-wing, whatever group doing something like this. Every reporter in America would be asking Donald Trump, what do you feel about this? What do you think about this? Do you endorse this? Do you support it? If you don't address it, you by definition are obviously endorsing or supporting, and you're responsible. Nobody asks Joe Biden dick about this shit. Nobody asked the Democrats dick about any of this. Nobody even asks AOC, hey, AOC, do you condone the chop? Do you condone kids getting shot down? Do you condone the violence and the rapes and all this? And what about no one is asked to address it. Like it's funny. Every 4 years, the national media that's on the presidential campaign trails, they dig up David motherfucking Duke, who was a fucking Democrat. I guess who's some grand wizard of some bullshit group, in his fucking basement, and they dig his ass up, stick a microphone in his face, and basically say bark, and then they run to whoever's the Republican at the time and say, you have to respond because David Duke spoke. And then what happens is that candidate has to disavow. I disavow David Duke, and I disavow this or this or this. And it's this, the whole thing is a virtual dog and pony show just to get a news cycle against the Republicans. Nobody, I mean, literally, you've got these communists running around the country, killing people, burning shit and tearing shit apart, and nobody's sticking a microphone in any Democrat's face saying, will you disavow this?
Very, very good point.
It's a total double standard. Now, it's something else that was interesting in Seattle I thought was super, super fun. Everybody's focusing on that mayor. Now, I've been busy. Like, we're doing an armory move. I've been busy, so I don't remember the girl's name. I can see her face. But there's a woman on, I believe it's Seattle. She's on council. And she's either an Indian immigrant or of Indian descent. She's from the subcontinent. And I would call it, she could be Pakistani, but she looks Indian to me. And has an Indian type name to me. And she calls herself a socialist, but she's a communist. And so she's partly responsible for some of this stuff. She's a radical communist.
Oh, yeah.
And at some point, she used her access in City Hall to bring these people in through security in the City Hall. And I don't know what they did, but maybe it was during the evening. Well, the mayor, who was also a leftist, is now seeking to have the communist city council Indian woman removed from council.
Yes,
for doing this. Like,
they're
turning on each other.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying. It's like the left is they're to the point where they carried so far to the left, they're beginning to eat their own. And we talked about this in private text messages over the past couple of days. But yes, they are eating.
No. That's called. No. Let me bring you up to speed, Grandpa. That's called a group chat.
Oh, fuck.
Wait a minute.
Whatever.
Who's the analogy? Who's the analogy to Grandpa?
When all three of us are in the text message, it's a group chat. That's the John 1911 private group chat. You are part of the private group chat.
I'm modern and I don't want to be.
Okay.
So, but Freeze is but Freeze is right. These people. It's just like, I mean. Well, check. Okay, it's okay? Does Danny because I kind of missed the story. I just saw the headlines and the photographs, and of course, it never fails. Look, there's a lot of people in the firearms tactical community that I respect greatly. They do a lot. They say a lot. They represent a lot. They are upstanding people, but they have the same problem that the Democrats have. I'm talking about gun people. I'm not going to mention their names, but these are major, major people in the firearms industry. They see videos or stills of the husband and wife standing with the AR in their socks and her with her little pocket rocket pistol as the mob comes by. And all they want to do is they want to virtue signal about how they need to get training, or they need to do this, or they need to do that, or they did this wrong, or they did that wrong. And it's like, look, assholes, I call it the arrogance of the trained. Those people are just like Brandon Webb from SoftRep, who was saying, like, he was advocating, taking away the average person's Second Amendment rights, and because he's a trained Navy SEAL sniper, and so somehow he magically knows more about the Constitution than the rest of us dirty civilians.
Yeah.
And it's like, you people out there, that are like making fun of this family and these guys because they're not ninjas and they're not in shape and they don't fucking look all tactical when they're in their socks. Well, guess what? It was knock, knock, get ready. There's a mob in front of your fucking house. They didn't have any fucking time to fucking LARP and put on their fucking gear like a zombie fucking apocalypse.
You know what?
They did the best they could. They did the best they could at the time it happened, and you guys in the tactical community need to shut your fucking mouths.
Tell you what,
because you're the fucking problem too.
That was my exact same goddamn thoughts, because I've seen all the video clips and I've seen all the leftist bullshit. I've seen all the rightist bullshit. But the thing that pisses me off most is, oh, well, she's got her trigger on the finger and he muzzled her with the gun. Fuck you. They were defending their goddamn house against a mob who was going to try to deface it. And you know what? They fucking won. And you're going to sit there and criticize them because the woman had a finger on the trigger? Well, you know what? Fuck you. If I had a goddamn mob in front of me and my finger was on the goddamn trigger, it was because I was ready to fucking torch off some fucking rounds at these motherfuckers. And you know what? You can sit there and criticize me after the fact, but we'll see whose house gets destroyed and whose house doesn't. So kiss my ass. I'm on page with you on this, Marky. I thought exactly the same thing. Yeah, these are not tactical ninjas. These are not people that train every day. These are just, I think they're both lawyers, you know?
Well,
they are.
For sure.
Wait on. Hold on, guys. Wait a minute. Couple of data points that have come out because the story came out. It's still photographs. People project their own bullshit onto the photographs. Number one, they're lawyers. Okay, they're both attorneys. Number two, I bet you they're liberals because number three, they've gone on record that that couple has donated money to Black Lives Matter. Literally. They've donated money to Black Lives Matter. Hold on, it gets even better. Their house is on a private street, okay? And this mob busted through a gate, and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. It turns out they live in the same area where there was lootings and killings just a few weeks ago. Like, these are people that live in the city, but, it's an older home, and they kept it up as opposed to doing the whole, suburban flight thing. But here's the final thing. The media was saying that the mob broke through the gate in this private community to go protest in front of the mayor's house. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Did you hear the follow-up? It's come out. The people that own that couple, they said, you cannot get to the mayor's house from our fucking property.
Yeah, okay. See.
Mm-hmm. So what the fuck are they supposed to think? And what this is these, look, this happens on Twitter with these people on the left at virtue signal, and it happens on the right with the gun community. And what it is, I so want to name a name, but I just can't. I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to say, instructor fucking X.
Yeah, okay. I know where.
Basically, he's decided, hey, here's a story about two people that did the best they could with what they had with no warning. And they got, and any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. But you know what? What I'm really going to do is I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes criticizing them because I want to really tell you how great I am and talk about me and insert myself into this story. And I fucking hate that bullshit.
I do as well.
Fucking hate it. I could name 4 or 5 names, major guys, and if I named them, it would cause, because everybody that's in our audience knows exactly who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. These are big people, and it's like I see these fuck guys, I'm like, dude, you need to shut the fuck up.
Marky, a couple here. I hate to one up you, but I have a little bit more information on that couple.
Hold on, breaking news from Chief Political Correspondent Danny.
All right, he is actually a civil rights attorney and is representing police brutality cases against the St. Louis Police Department.
Oh my God, it is so awesome.
Oh, that gets so much better.
And you wonder why I want to raise.
This reminds me of the I think it was Minneapolis. I think there's been so many riots. It's a shame you have to say that today. Like, oh, which riot are you talking about? There was this little bullshit newspaper somewhere that's like this total like liberal communist freaking, piece of crap. It's not an objective newspaper. It's just really a front for communism. And they got their offices because they were in some poor neighborhood because it's cheap rent, which is fine. And they got their shit wiped out, like their offices burned. And like the person that ran the newspaper comes out publicly and says, "I don't know why you burned our offices. We're on your side." And it's like
that video.
It's like the Lenin and Stalin had a lot of people on his side that ended up was it the Mensheviks or something? Like these people end up getting shot too. You just don't realize it yet. You're the useful idiot.
How about it? Well,
that's awesome.
And here's the point. You talk about people critiquing and criticizing them. If you put that into perspective, that's 99% of the American gun owners that don't have specialized training, that have it for their home defense. So you're taking on the vast majority of gun owners in America when you start critiquing that certain couple for defending themselves. So who the hell are you?
Well, let me make a point. I'm pretty well trained. I've also trained people. I have trained on building searches, and I have taught building searches.
One or two. One or two.
So here's my point. Here's my point. Guns are not that hard. People that like are instructors, it's in their it's bureaucracy, and it becomes the gun instructor bureaucracy because it's to my benefit as a teacher to allow you to think that this is super hard and you need me. Most gun stuff is not that hard. Most people, and this is the truth, most people in the United States successfully defend themselves with firearms with zero training whatsoever.
Yes.
Most people, you do not need training. It's mostly common sense.
No.
Now, I'm not saying you can't turn into John Wick and like really up your game and like compete on a high-end level because I'm that guy.
Yeah. You know what though? The truth, what you're saying is absolutely 150% true. And the truth is, look, I know your training and I know your skills. And look, I mean, I'm not even close to your skills on running and gunning. I'm not even going to try to pretend I am. You're no.
Hold on now. Hey, just keep laying it on.
Look, okay, now here's the thing. Here's the downside. You're no fucking John Wick because I've seen all 3 fucking movies, dude, and you're not him.
I refuse to watch a John Wick movie.
I know you do. And look, all joking aside, you're absolutely 150% correct on what you just said. Because you don't have to have fucking ninja training to be a hardcore fucking badass to defend your home. You know what you need? You have to have the fucking balls to go out in your front yard with an AR-15 and tell these motherfuckers that you will shoot them if they come onto your fucking property. That's all you need.
In slacks, sitting in your backyard in your fancy house in socks because these people obviously don't even wear shoes in their own house. Suddenly, ding, 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 buzzer goes off, and you now have a mob in front of your house, and you're in dress slacks with an AR. Now, let me just make a point so we can talk about a little gear to throw a bone to our average listener who is going to be a gun person. There was a time, a long time ago, when you could have seen on the internet, on a gun forum, the following postulation. You're in your house, and a riot comes, and you have to choose between, I don't know, whatever these super guns are, whatever these ultimate like CQB lights, lasers, and whatever, versus your wife has a pocket rocket of some kind, and you have a 20-inch carry handle A2 full-size rifle. People on the internet would have told you, that that A2 rifle life is going to get you killed on the streets because you need a flat top and a red dot and all this bullshit. And that man with his little pot belly and his slacks and his soft body picked up that fucking A2 and went out there and got it done. And I thumbs up.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
The business end of an AR still gets people's attention. Did you notice that? They didn't touch his house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's that old joke? You've only got 6 shots in that gun. Which 6 of you want to get shot first?
Yeah.
Which one has your number on it?
Well, what was it? Who was the actor in Escape from New York?
Snake Plissken.
Kurt Russell.
He's married to Goldie Hawn. Kurt Russell. When he was in, I don't know, Tombstone or whatever Western movie he was in,
he cocked that gun in front of that guy's head, and and the guy's like, "You can't get us all," and he's like, "Yeah, but I'll canoe your fucking head first." Or I'm paraphrasing, of course, but the point gets across. It's like, okay, who wants to be the first to fucking go? Okay, maybe you got 200 Black Lives Matter, Antifa rally and rioters, whatever you want to call them, rushing your neighborhood. And yeah, you might shoot 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them. Who knows? And they may get you in the end. But are they?
Who wants to be one of
the 10? Do they have enough fortitude to watch 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 of their people die before they tackle you, or do they run away? My belief is they're going to run away, because I don't know. I'm not going to comment on Black Lives Matter, but I know most of these Antifa kids are under 25 years old, and they're all basically screaming fucking pussies who have probably never been in a fight in their life and have probably never, ever actually been punched in the fucking face. And you know what? So, the ultimate determination of your character is, have you been punched in the face or not? If you have been,
Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
No, and it's true.
That's a pretty good list.
No, I mean,
I love Mike Tyson.
No, I mean that's very true, because at the end of the day, you may be a fucking badass behind your fucking mask, and when you've got 100 other people behind you chanting the same commie fucking beliefs. But at the end of the,
you know what? I want to go ahead and say that real quick. This isn't about Black Lives. This isn't really Black Lives. Black Lives Matter Incorporated. Black Lives Matter Incorporated is a communist Marxist organization.
Yes.
These are communists.
Yes.
They're just using this as an example to try to tear down the system, because they obviously don't care about Black American lives, or they'd be in Chicago, or they'd be in Norfolk. You know what I mean? Or
in St. Louis. I mean,
yeah, and it's like, come on, give me a break. I care more about Black lives than you do. I care about white lives. I'm not trying to turn this into a racial thing. This is communist bullshit, and that's what this is.
Well, and Marky, you're 100% correct, but not to back burner it, but I've been frothing at the mouth with my headline story to lay on you guys.
Hit me with it, baby.
Did you hear about Epstein's girlfriend?
No, I was sitting here while we were talking, and I saw Epstein's girlfriend come across a crawler on one of the monitors.
Here's the detail.
I love that story.
The FBI arrested her this morning. Funny, it happened on a 3-day holiday. No bail for her in a FBI secure location, and supposedly she has the flight logs.
So are you saying that the FBI is going to waterboard? Hold on. Her name is
oh my God,
Gillian Maxwell.
Yeah,
Gillian?
Maxwell.
You know what?
I can't really say the first name, but here's the thing. My question: Why did they arrest her when all the courts are closed till Monday? Number one. Number two, they did it on this holiday weekend. I'm thinking she turned state's evidence somehow.
Okay, conspiracy theorist Danny.
Well,
okay. I saw.
We're in it deep now. We're in it deep.
Here comes
I
the
love
dive.
the story. I love the Epstein story.
I saw a post today on this. What is that fake parody Onion type site? Bumblebee type thing.
Babylon Bee.
Right, Babylon Bee.
I saw a fake post, and I didn't pay any attention because it's Babylon Bee and it's a parody website. But apparently, they have hired an Italian security expert person to guard this lady in prison. Which
well, and she's got the same cell as Jeffrey, so I don't get it.
Yeah, of course you don't get it, Danny. It's funny. But
here's the problem with the whole Jeffrey Epstein story, and I'm going to put this in terms of Danny Freeze. So if this is Freeze and I talking, and Danny's going to be listening.
Okay.
We know that Danny likes a good conspiracy.
Danny and my wife, they
yeah, that's true. Mrs. Freeze, I have had to talk her off the ledge a couple of times.
Dude, she's bad.
Political correspondent to you, Freeze.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Like, a lot of things you can explain, a lot of things you can do, and come on, it's a little lack of information, a little lack of understanding about process or how things work in the real world. The problem with the Epstein story is it is so fucking crazy that it's you can't, it's a full-blown conspiracy. I mean, at this point, I'm even like, oh yeah, this is all fucking crazy. This is a full-blown conspiracy. This is all nuts. It's so out of control.
Well,
there's nothing, you can't talk your way out of it.
Yes, I can. Don't you think?
Of course you can. You can.
Yeah, you know my past. I can. You lie, I'll swear to it. Anyway. Anyway.
I got more lawyers than I got friends.
Right.
I don't have to remind you.
That's right. But anyway, don't you at least think the timing is suspect? Number one.
No, the timing isn't suspect at all. Without giving into details, I have personally been involved in groups trying to arrest people on Friday of a 3-day weekend just to fuck with them.
Exactly, and that's what I mean.
I have personally been involved with that.
Okay, look, Danny. The last person I put in jail was put in jail on a holiday weekend on a Friday, knowing that she wouldn't even see the judge until Tuesday. And honestly, if she wouldn't have pissed me off, and this is a true goddamn story, if she wouldn't have pissed me off, I'd have let her walk. But she pissed me off, so she sat in jail till Tuesday.
Well, that's good.
It happens all the time.
Okay, that's one thing. But this is my little peccadillo into it. Don't you think that, okay, the FBI got her, which means DOJ. You don't think that if she does have that information, and now the DOJ, let's say, supposedly will get this information, that in an election cycle, this just happens to come out right in the waning moments of the campaign?
Oh, sure. I mean,
sure.
No, but I'm a conspiracy theorist. Oh,
no, but okay, look, see, here's the thing, Danny. If this wouldn't...
Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Look, if this wouldn't be an election year, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. She'd have been arrested and whatever.
We care about Hillary Clinton's emails every 4 years the way the Democratic Party cares about black people every 4 years.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, that is a harsh statement.
That's a very vicious statement, but it's true. Because you don't hear shit about it until every 4 years.
Do you?
Now look, half the bullshit that's going on right now with the Summer of Love and the coronavirus. If this wasn't an election year, it would have been SARS all over again. What the fuck? Who cares? You get it. You don't. You don't. Well, Everyone remembers SARS in 2000. What was it? 2009.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you get it, you don't, whatever. No one fucking quarantined. No one wore fucking masks. The thing is, this is a Donald Trump election year, and that's why Corona-19 is that big of a fucking deal. And that's the honest God truth if you want to sit there and cut through all the bullshit.
Do you know what the official warrant charges were listed as for her?
You know what? That's a good point. She was arrested on charges. What are the charges? What's a charge sheet?
Child and underage solicitation.
Oh, here's the thing. She's looking at, on each case, she's looking at possibly hundreds of years.
That's exactly why I think she's going to be dropping dimes like a damn phone booth.
I'm not saying she's not going to be dropping dimes, Danny. I'm just saying I don't think the 4th of July weekend of her arrest is that big of a conspiracy theory.
Well, okay, I'll give you guys that one. The 3-day weekends, yes, we've all seen it. We've all seen it just to mess with people. But the news, I'm getting back to Marky's stick on this.
Hold on. Where was she arrested, Danny? Because she's been in hiding. Was she in the United States?
I believe so. I did not get the exact location. I will, though.
Did she have, because it had been reported last year that she had, quote, former Navy SEALs protecting her. Did she have a detail with her at all?
So far, all I have is the litany of the charges and her arrest and that she is in FBI custody. But what I'm thinking, this is now not conspiracy, it's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the FBI, they've got her on these child solicitation, referring back to the last pod of when you said how they got Al Capone on tax evasion. They got this guy for this evasion or whatever. They're getting her on the child solicitation charges. To lessen those charges, you don't think she's going to be dealing like a card shark?
No, she's going to. No. The miracle of the Jeffrey Epstein story. Let's just be real. The miracle of the Jeffrey Epstein story is fundamentally his victims are known, and so you have people that can testify, and they're serious charges, and somehow he keeps getting out of it. It's because he throws money around. He buys everybody off. This woman, she either has to be paid off or she will have to flip. There's just no two ways about it because she's looking at way too much time. And her charges, it's not like, here's the thing, it's not like Al Capone, mail fraud and tax evasion is a process crime. It's not the sexy crime. The thing is, Gillian Maxwell, the crime they're going to get her on is the one that everybody's so upset about. The little girls and across state lines and international borders. And that's the sexy charges. And if they can get her, they can get her. But here's the thing with Bubba being dead, Jeffrey Epstein, who is she supposed to sell out?
Her own ass to cover it.
No. But to get who?
To cover her ass, if anything.
Okay, hold on, Danny. There is a transaction. If she cooperates, they will tell the court that the mitigating circumstances of her cooperation, they would like to go lenient or have a deal.
I understand.
Who is she going to be cooperating to get? Jeffrey Epstein's dead.
Exactly.
She's got no leverage.
What about the black book with the flight logs of who might have participated in these child solicitation?
Well, but here's the thing. Even if she says, well, I can drop other names, she has to have some kind of proof because you can't sit there and say, well, okay, I was with Epstein and I'm making this up, mind you. I'm not saying this from any type of authority. I'm just making this up as an example. She can't sit there and say, well, Bill Clinton was with a 12-year-old girl. if she doesn't have any proof, none of that means anything, and they're not going to cut any deals with her over that.
I fully agree with you, but you don't think the FAA flight logs, which logs everyone, as we know, would be good enough?
Well,
No.
well, hold on. It's okay. The logs themselves are not good enough, but if you can place means, method, and then she is corroboration, a witness, and she's the witness, it could be devastating. Now, I'm going to throw Danny a bone here. So, like, for example, I doubt Freeze knows who this is. Do you know who the Wexner family is in Columbus, Freeze?
No.
The Wexner family is they're billionaires. It's the guys of Wex, whatever the guy's name is. He lives in Columbus. He's one of the richest people in Ohio. And how he I'm not going to say I know all of his business, but basically how he made his money is he owns Fredericks of Hollywood. He owns The Limited. He owns a couple of these other clothing brands that, like, Mrs. Freeze would know.
Yeah.
And so, well, here's the thing. Jeffrey Epstein was like working for this man, like became like one of his money people. There was some big connection. And like, my point is the Wexner family would be incentivized. Like Wexner has come out and said that Jeffrey Epstein stole a lot of money from him or stole money from his company. That may be true. It's likely true because until I see proof otherwise, or it may be that Wexner was involved in whatever the theory is. Jeffrey Epstein was importuning these old chicks everywhere, and he was getting money from people, and they were paying him off, and it was kind of like a pseudo-symbiotic facilitate payoff relationship. Because a lot of people cannot figure out, because Jeffrey Epstein was worth, they were estimating he was a billionaire. Then they were estimating he had a lot of money, but he started off as a public school teacher, and I think when he passed, they ultimately figured out he's worth about $400 million. But they still can't, which is a lot of goddamn money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They still can't quite figure out how he got that money. They're like, what did he do? Because what they're trying to figure out is, and this is, I'm throwing Danny a bone here, because he had like a financial company. And people have been wondering for a long time if that financial company was really a front, kind of like the Danny, what's the name of the guy, the big Ponzi guy in New York that finally got busted and went to prison for?
Madoff?
Madoff. Yes, Murdoch is Fox News.
See, I'm good for something.
Madoff basically had a fantasy business. Bernie Madoff had a fantasy business. Like, people that actually look at financial records and look at transactions on the markets, they were looking at his reports and looking at the markets and not seeing correlations of stuff. There were people that were putting red flags up. It would not be too difficult if you got access to Jeffrey Epstein's business to find out if it was a real business or not.
I agree with that.
That's the theory.
Okay, I agree with that. But
of course you do, Danny.
You have to agree with it. It's
my bone,
theory,
so I'll
Danny.
agree with what I want. But anyway, but anyway, to me, the political overtones out of this, I think, are going to be enormous between now and November.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, whether they're legitimate political overtones or not is another matter. But I believe that between now and November, the Democrats are going to try to do whatever they can, and the Republicans will try to do everything they can. And I do believe that this will be an issue.
I'm going to throw you both a curve. I'm going to throw you both a curveball here. So let's pretend that we're in a meeting at the re-elect Trump 2020 campaign, and we work for Brad Parscale, who runs his campaign.
Okay.
And we're looking at this news story, and like you and I are like Epstein, money, chicks, the Clintons, Bill, the flight logs. There's a possibility, Danny, however remote it is, that this may not be the FBI acting on behalf of the whims of Trump somehow. This may be an effort by certain people to maybe splash Epstein on the Trump. because there is, I mean, Epstein lived in New York at some point. Epstein was a member of Mar-a-Lago. Trump kicked him out. There's, they knew each other. There could be an argument made. The left has always tried to, whenever you bring up Epstein and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and all that craziness, which is crazy, like fucking retarded crazy, they always immediately say what they'll do is they'll take a photograph of Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, a young Melania, and a younger looking Trump at a party somewhere, some fundraiser, saying, see, they're fucking Epstein's with fucking Trump is porking little chicks or little kids.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this isn't what you think. Maybe it's the exact opposite.
It could.
What if it's some way to hurt Trump?
I fully agree with your theory on that. Conspiracy
I've
or
got
not.
my theory. I'm just
But anyway,
putting it out there.
But here's what you have to ask yourself. If this was so non-important and just theories, why is Jeffrey pushing up daisies now? There's a reason.
No. Well, hold on. Let's be real. I'm going to stop everybody right now and let's throw some cold water onto the real world. I don't give a flying rat's fucking ass who's president, who's not president, if the commies are in control or if America is in control. When little kids are being victimized, whether it's 14 or 16-year-old kids getting shot and chopped, or 16-year-old, 15-year-old girls getting bent over some massage table in Palm Beach, they're coming to get you. Have there be no doubt about it, because there's enough people that get ass hurt about it. You cannot get away from that. Politics, people, everybody will fucking get you.
I agree.
You hurt kids, they will fucking put you in front of a brick wall.
Unless you're a member of the Catholic Church.
Here comes the priest. Oh, man.
Because if you're a member of the Catholic Church, then it's kind of okay. And every decade, you got to fucking kind of dodge a few bullets. But other than that, it's okay.
Well, Marky and I haven't been excommunicated yet, so
I have. There was a time when I was involved in exposing crimes in the Catholic Church, and we will leave it at that.
Well, let me put you this way: in 12 years of Catholic education, 2 of my 3 high school principals got excommunicated by the Catholic Church. Boom. I mean,
Hey, do you know the 11th commandment, Freeze? It's only gay if you push back.
But you know what? No, that's true.
That's blasphemous. That's fucking blasphemy.
I'm Catholic, everybody.
No, hey,
chill out.
That's not
Catholic,
even true.
Chill out.
Pushing back just shows you give the Pope moral support.
Mine was better. That was weak.
You guys are going to roast on a spit,
whatever.
And I'm going to be standing there drinking a Mountain Dew watching it.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I'm not worried about the current Pope because he's no John Paul.
No.
I am.
Well,
he's a communist.
You know what I was told by some people in the know is that the Catholic Church are the biggest money launderers in the nation.
Oh, fuck yeah, they are.
Yeah. I don't know, but I can't. I'm not going to argue against it. There's just no way.
Hey, man, look, when you got a multi-billion-dollar organization that doesn't pay any fucking taxes. Yeah, I mean,
you got to look at this.
Look, I'm not.
It's like the mafia.
I'm not going to get.
The Catholic dude, a multi-billion. Are you kidding me? The Catholic Church is worth trillions
just on their property assets alone.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
so you got
assets alone is trillions.
Okay, so you got a multi-trillion-dollar organization that doesn't pay taxes and is pretty much oblivious to prosecution.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that, it's an organization full of molesters because I could be wrong. But then again,
hey, you know what? Since this is 3 Catholics dumping on the Catholic Church, I'm going to go ahead and bring this one up because
Okay.
look, none of us here are anti-Semitic. We have probably our smartest person on staff is Jewish. Ruben,
no, they're not probably, without a doubt. Our smartest person on staff is Jewish, and that is
Reuben Ephraim, who writes on the John 1911 website, is without a doubt probably the smartest people I've ever met.
Oh, dude, he sweats more brain cells than I have.
I love him. He's brilliant. I love him. But here, hold on. Now, there was a story that came out recently about Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson is a big Catholic apparently, because he makes some of these movies and all that kind of stuff. Because everybody's they're all going back and they're rehashing the past and
the anti-Semitic bullshit and all that stuff.
I guess there's all these Catholics that are anti-Semitic. I did not know that. I was never raised that in the Catholic Church, but I guess there's a ton of them that are. Reuben and I have talked about it. I have major problems with the Catholic Church, and the older I get, the worse it gets. However, they got Mel Gibson. Maybe it's, I don't know, one of these actresses. She's well known. I don't remember her name, but apparently she was at a party in the 80s or the 90s with Mel Gibson. And she's Jewish, and he apparently insulted her.
Okay.
And this is an anti-Semitic insult, dude. I have never heard this before.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard this. I was like, wow. I was like, I've never fucking heard that one before. I was almost impressed. He was talking to her, and at some point he realizes she's of the Jewish faith, and Mel Gibson, being a jackass, literally says to her, "Oh, you're an oven dodger."
An oven dodger?
Have you ever?
I've heard that word.
Have you ever heard that?
I have.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that. What does he mean by an oven dodger?
He's talking about the
whole.
He's talking about the Holocaust.
Yeah, I get that, but why
in the Holocaust?
Why would a Jewish person be an oven dodger? That's my question, because most Jewish people pretty much believe it, like most normal, sane people.
Hold on, I lost you there. Say that again. Hold on, you made it important.
I don't get the semblance, because why would a person of Jewish persuasion be in a quote-unquote oven dodger? Because most Jewish people do believe in the Holocaust, just like most normal.
No. He's not. You're mistaken. Oven dodger isn't. He's denying the Holocaust. The slur is most of the Jews died in the oven. There's a whole oven thing. And you must have been one that got away, that didn't die. So you're an oven dodger.
And it was
see. I read that and I was like, it was horrifying and in some way I was like.
So being an oven dodger means you dodged the horrification of the oven. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was like, I never heard of that before.
But you know what, though? Is that vetted? Do we know if that's true or not?
Not only is that true, it came out, and it was from many, many years ago. And apparently, last I checked, I've been busy this week, but apparently Mel Gibson's coming out I used to say a lot of bad shit. He's apparently not even denying it. Not that he would remember. It'd be like you saying something bad on a podcast, then 20 years later, trying to remember. Dude, you can't remember what you did fucking.
Oh, dude, shit! I'm fucking half drunk on most of our podcasts anyway.
I know. That's what I was like. Are you kidding?
I'm actually joking about that, but.
Okay.
But,
I have something.
I get the point though, because
No, wait a minute, everybody. Let me tell everybody a story. I remember because Freeze, because he works third shift and he works hard and he gets home in the morning and then I'm getting up and sometimes we would have our business meetings or, he would be done at night and I would be up in the morning and we would have our conversations. And I remember having a very, to me, serious conversation covering a lot of topics. And I was talking to you for at least half an hour before I realized. I was like, oh my God, you're fucking drunk. I was like, Freeze, are you drunk? And you're like, no.
It's medicinal.
We had I went into this big thing and we made all these plans and all these things, and I realized he's not going to remember any of this. He's fucking drunk.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. When I get off at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's like most people getting off at work at 5. I have a cocktail or 10. You know.
Well, no, but no, it was so late. It was probably like the equivalent of 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I was
wasn't dangerous.
No, seriously. It was 11 p.m. I was probably 8 drinks into the day.
No, I mean, it was like maybe 10:30, 11 in the morning. Yeah. And it was, to you, it's like 11 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
No, and that's exactly. Now, I do know if we're doing a...
Because I remember I was like, are you drunk? And then your wife is like, yes, he's drunk.
Yeah. Hey, but you see, I do purposely...
purposely. Say no more. Did you hear who was hospital?
Hold on, you both can't talk at the same time. Okay, freeze, talk, finish your thought, and let Danny talk.
I'm just saying, when I do podcast, I do try to be sober, of course, because I have to have. So I do have to be like, somewhat cognizant of what's going on. But look, I mean, you're retired. I'm not. And I mean, I have a few cocktails when I get off work. And it might be, you're drinking your coffee. I'm drinking my first bourbon. I mean, shit happens.
Yeah, you know what? You don't have to be defensive about it. Most people have a drink late at night. It's fine. So do you have named the podcast, Freeze? This will be the Straighten Up and Fly Right podcast. Now, Danny, what were you going to say?
Did you see who was hospitalized with coronavirus?
God, no. I mean, I'll tell you what's been really sad is you look at the blotters and you see all of these stars from like actors and singers from like the 70s and like the 50s, 60s, and 70s that like you haven't heard of. Like, oh my God, I forgot that person and they died of coronavirus.
Right.
Who's hospitalized now?
Herman Cain.
Really?
And here's what the liberal...
He's probably 70s, right?
But here's what the liberal slant on that is. He only caught it after attending the Trump rally 2 weeks ago.
See...
That's exactly what the liberal stations are pushing.
See, here's my whole problem with the coronavirus deaths. I mean,
hey, I want to give you guys a warning here. We have less than 9 minutes before it shuts us off.
Time check.
So go ahead, coronavirus.
No, I mean, look, I mean, there's so many false look, I mean, the truth is
day drinking.
No. I mean, I've had a beer. That's not day drinking, dude. I drink bourbon. A beer is not day drinking. So let's get that right.
Okay.
But look, I mean, the thing is, there's so many discrepancies. Like I saw a Twitter feed, for example. Now, I haven't verified this. I don't know if it's fact because, honestly, I don't have the energy to actually fact check and research it.
Hello?
I'm here.
I think we may have lost Freeze.
He went to
Freeze. Did you hit the mute? Did you hit the mute on your phone? Freeze. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
No.
He's showing him connect.
No.
Oh, there
he
you go.
went and poured himself another.
I'm here.
He topped himself off.
No, God damn, Danny, I did not pour myself another drink. Okay, come on.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Okay, you know what? We're gonna. You are done, Freeze, because we literally have 6 minutes. We have 6 minutes before this is going to
seriously.
Cut us off. It's a hard break.
I feel discriminated against.
You're discriminated. Yeah.
Well, Freeze, you are discriminated against because I have a coffee cup and you don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Screw you, Danny, because you've got 1911 coffee mug and I don't. And
Yeah.
what the hell's wrong with that?
Okay. So, a couple of things. I thought this was
Okay.
I thought this was interesting. Just I guess Remington, I want to cover some industry, then I want to do the police or the special police blotter.
Okay.
So,
cool.
I guess Remington is about to go into bankruptcy.
Pretty much.
Again.
Yeah.
And apparently they've negotiated I guess a debt asset transfer to the Navajo Nation. And I got to tell you, number one, I feel like those American Indian investment casino groups, I feel like they're pretty smart. They're run well. They make money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would finally get good to get somebody into Remington that has some historical connection to it and also has some financial backing. And I have to admit, there's a part of me that likes the poetic kind of justice of the Navajo Nation buying Remington. I just like that. I don't know why. I'd rather have the Navajo Nation buy it because, again, they're American Indians. They are Americans, and I think it's great that they are buying Remington. I love that story, and I wish them the best, and I hope that the Navajo Nation makes Remington into a monster company that even rivals Glock. It would be such a great American story.
So look,
it would be so awesome.
My feeling on that is I agree with you 100%. When I heard that they were going into bankruptcy and I heard that the Navajo Nation was going to buy them out, I was actually kind of excited because look, the truth is, a lot of the drama that hangs over the Remington Firearms Corporation as a whole won't hold if they're owned by American Indians. It just kind of is. And the truth is, the Navajo Nation, who runs a lot of the major casinos in this country, have a lot of dollars to back it behind, and they could actually do something well. I don't know if they're going to survive. I don't know if they'll make it, but I see it.
I wish them the best. It's super deep.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
We've got a hard break coming up, and I got to get the last one in that I can do the toss out. I swear we have 4 minutes.
Cool.
So here's the other thing. So instead of a normal police blotter, a couple years ago, I wrote an article on John 1911 called Situational Awareness. And that became another one of those catchphrases where it became a self-defeating phrase. Situational awareness became this, like, people could say situational awareness, but not really actually know what they're talking about to sound like that they're tactically smart. And it became this crazy buzzword, okay? And so I wrote an article complaining about that some years ago. And just to prove the point, I gave an example and I said, I can reduce everybody's exposure to crime by at least 30% if you do 3 things that I'm telling you to do, and your life will be much safer. And I said, I can stop you from being robbed, being raped, financial crimes. And I said 3 things. Don't go to Walmart, McDonald's, or the post office. Because if you go to one of those 3 places, your chances of being involved with people or interfacing or being near people that are involved in serious criminal activity goes exponentially higher. The reason I'm telling that story is to tell this story. ProPublica has come out with an article this week, 3 days ago, and they are working very hard to push Walmart off that list. How Dollar General stores became magnets for crime and killing. So I just thought that was interesting. If you have a Dollar General in your neighborhood, there's a chance that it's increasing crime in your neighborhood. And Freeze, do you remember the store in Dayton, Ohio, where the guy went in with a gun to rob the store, and then the clerk shot him, and then the family was talking to the news out front saying, how come that guy at work had a gun? They were complaining.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, that was a Dollar General store, I'm pretty certain.
Yes.
So So there you go.
I believe it was a Dollar General. Yes.
There is a perfect bow at the end of episode 179 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see stories, pictures, or links of anything we want to talk about, you can go to our website, john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day because we have 90 seconds. Say bye.
See you later.
Have a good holiday, everyone. Be safe.
Happy 4th of July, America.